Have you ever felt the phone ring and let it go to voicemail, hoping the moment passes quietly? Or stood frozen when someone knocked at your door, wishing they'd just leave? Maybe you've declined an invitation, not out of spite, but because the thought of small talk or crowded rooms feels like too much. If this resonates, you're not alone, and you're not becoming a recluse. This is the quiet, powerful evolution of aging, a shift no one talks about but everyone feels. In this video, we dive deep into 8 psychological reasons why you start avoiding people more as you grow older, and why it's not just normal, but a beautiful act of self-discovery. Stick with us until the end to uncover how embracing this change can unlock a richer, more intentional life, filled with peace, authenticity, and connections that truly matter. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video, you can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know, so I can make a better video for you. Now let's get started. 1. Your heart says, enough, to emotional clutter. In your younger years, you likely navigated the social world with a generous, accommodating spirit, often at great personal cost. You endured endless rounds of small talk that felt like a chore, tolerated the self-absorbed acquaintance who monopolized conversations, and patiently supported friends who only reached out when they needed a favor. You played the role of the peacemaker, the empathetic listener, the one who kept the social engine running smoothly, even when it meant suppressing your discomfort. You absorbed the chaos of other people's egos, insecurities, and dramas, carrying their emotional weight while neglecting your own. But as the years have unfolded, a profound and unyielding clarity has taken root. Your tolerance for emotional clutter, those draining, inauthentic interactions, has dwindled to near zero. This isn't cynicism or bitterness. It's a fierce act of self-preservation, a declaration that your emotional well-being matters. Decades of navigating human relationships have taught you to recognize the toll of emotional clutter. You've sat through conversations that left your spirit heavy, forced polite smiles at humor that fell flat, and maintained one-sided relationships that sapped your vitality without offering reciprocity. You've weathered the exhaustion of being everyone's confidant, mediator, or cheerleader, often at the expense of your peace. Now, your heart demands something different. Authenticity, as essential as air. You set firm boundaries with the friend who only takes, gracefully sidestep the coworker who thrives on gossip and negativity, and choose silence over superficial pleasantries that ring hollow. This shift isn't about closing yourself off or becoming cold. It's about curating a life filled with connections that feel genuine, meaningful, and mutually enriching. You've earned the right to protect your inner peace, to say no to interactions that dim your light and yes to those that ignite your spirit. This newfound boundary setting feels like freedom, a quiet, powerful rebellion against the emotional clutter that no longer has a place in your life. 2. Your priorities shift toward peace over popularity. When you were younger, life often felt like a relentless pursuit of external validation. You measured your worth by the fullness of your calendar, the number of people who called you on a Friday night, or the applause that followed your achievements. Being liked, being invited, being seen was the yardstick of your value. You chased the buzz of a packed social schedule, sought approval from peers, and worked tirelessly to belong, often prioritizing others' perceptions over your own needs. But with age comes a seismic shift in perspective, a reorientation of what truly matters. The question at the heart of your choices evolves from, how can I be seen? To, what brings my soul to life? You no longer find joy in the superficial thrill of a crowded room or an overflowing inbox of invitations. Instead, you crave moments that spark genuine joy, conversations that leave you inspired, and relationships with people who see and honor the real you, flaws, quirks, and all. You'd rather spend an evening immersed in a thought-provoking book, nurturing a quiet hobby like painting or gardening, or simply basking in the stillness of your thoughts than endure shallow banter at a noisy gathering. This isn't about retreating into isolation or rejecting connection. It's about embracing the liberation of choice. You've come to understand that your time is a precious, non-renewable resource, and you're determined to invest it in what aligns with your heart's deepest desires. A quiet morning spent sipping tea while watching the sunrise, listening to the soft hum of the world waking up, can feel infinitely more nourishing than a raucous party filled with fleeting interactions. This shift reflects a hard-earned wisdom. Inner peace is far more valuable than popularity, and authentic, soul-filling moments trump the fleeting high of social validation. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. 3. Grief becomes a silent teacher. As the years accumulate, loss becomes an inevitable companion, weaving its way into the fabric of your life. Friends move to distant cities or drift into new phases of life, loved ones pass away, and relationships dissolve under the weight of time, distance, or irreconcilable differences. Each loss, whether sudden or gradual, carves a quiet, tender space in your heart, reshaping the contours of your social world. For some, this feels like a natural pruning, a shedding of connections that no longer align with your path. For others, it's a profound ache, a lingering reminder of love's fragility and life's impermanence. What often catches you off guard is how grief transforms your approach to connection, becoming a silent but powerful teacher. Having loved deeply and lost deeply, you develop a fierce selectivity about who you allow into your inner circle. You no longer have the energy or the desire for fleeting, shallow ties or unstable bonds that falter under pressure. Instead, you cherish the weekly phone call with a lifelong friend whose voice feels like a warm embrace, the bittersweet memory of a loved one's laughter that still echoes in your heart, or the rare soul who knows your deepest scars and chooses to stay by your side. This isn't about withdrawing from the world or hardening your heart. It's about honoring the sacredness of your time and emotional energy. Solitude becomes a sanctuary, a sacred space where you process your grief, carry the love of those you've lost, and cultivate connections that feel safe, authentic, and enduring. Grief teaches you that life is fleeting, and you'd rather spend your days with those who matter most, or in the quiet reverence of your own company, holding space for both the love you've known and the losses you've endured. This selective approach to connection is a testament to the wisdom grief imparts. Quality matters more than quantity, and true connection is worth more than any fleeting bond. 4. Social fatigue weighs heavier than ever. After decades of navigating the intricate, often exhausting dance of human interactions, social fatigue settles into your bones like never before. It's not just physical tiredness, it's a deep, soul-level exhaustion born from years of managing complex personalities, soothing fragile egos, and fulfilling the role society expects of you. The attentive listener who always has a kind word, the charming guest who lights up a room, the family member who holds everyone together through crises and celebrations. You've mediated heated arguments, smiled through awkward silences that stretched on too long, and endured gatherings that left you emotionally and mentally depleted, even if you couldn't pinpoint why. Each interaction, no matter how small, has added to an invisible ledger of energy spent, and now, that weight feels heavier than ever. A single hour of small talk can feel like running a marathon, draining your reserves in ways you never anticipated. A loud party, a family reunion with overlapping conversations, or a workplace event filled with forced pleasantries can overwhelm your senses, leaving you craving the quiet of your own space. Your energy is a finite, precious resource, and you've learned to guard it with unwavering intention. You say no to invitations that feel like obligations, choosing rest over chaos and authenticity over performance. You might find more joy in a quiet afternoon tending to your garden, losing yourself in a book that speaks to your soul, or simply sitting with your thoughts than in a crowded dinner that demands more energy than it gives. This shift isn't about disliking people or becoming antisocial. It's about loving yourself enough to prioritize your mental and emotional well-being. Peace has become your most valuable currency, and you're no longer willing to spend it on interactions that leave you depleted. This change reflects a profound self-awareness. You've spent years giving generously to others, and now, you're learning to give that same care and compassion to yourself, choosing moments of quiet restoration over the clamor of social demands. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. 5. Self-awareness becomes your superpower. As the years weave their intricate tapestry through your life, one of the most extraordinary and transformative gifts of aging is the profound self-awareness that emerges. A deep, unfiltered understanding of who you are at your core. This isn't the polished, carefully curated persona you might have once presented to the world to fit societal expectations, navigate professional demands, or appease the needs of others. Instead, it's the raw, authentic, and beautifully complex version of you, sculpted by a lifetime of experiences. The exhilarating highs of your greatest triumphs, the gut-wrenching lows of heartbreaks and failures, the hard-earned wisdom from mistakes, and the quiet, introspective moments of personal growth that have revealed your true essence. With this self-awareness comes an intimate knowledge of what ignites your passion, what drains your spirit, and what you are no longer willing to tolerate in the name of obligation, conformity, or fear of judgment. This clarity becomes both a protective shield, safeguarding your emotional and mental well-being, and a guiding compass, directing you toward a life that aligns with your deepest values, desires, and sense of purpose. This self-awareness empowers you to make choices with intention and confidence, freeing you from the pressure to force yourself into situations or relationships that feel misaligned with your true nature. If superficial small talk at crowded social gatherings feels like an exhausting performance that saps your energy, you no longer hesitate to sidestep it, perhaps opting for meaningful, one-on-one conversations with those who share your depth or quietly excusing yourself to preserve your peace. If a family member's passive-aggressive remarks or toxic behaviors reopen old emotional wounds or disrupt your sense of calm, you establish firm boundaries with grace and resolve. This might mean declining an invitation to a draining family event, limiting the time you spend in their presence, or addressing their behavior directly with calm, assertive honesty. These actions aren't rooted in coldness, rejection, or spite. They are acts of profound self-kindness, a way of honoring your own needs with the same compassion and respect you've so often extended to others. With this newfound clarity, you begin to curate your social world with deliberate intention, gravitating toward individuals who honor your authenticity, who respect the boundaries you've set, and who don't expect you to stretch yourself beyond your limits to meet their demands or expectations. You seek out those who celebrate the real you, not the version of you that conforms to their desires or fits neatly into their narrative, but the person you are in this moment, with all your quirks, passions, and complexities. This selective approach to relationships and environments isn't about arrogance, exclusivity, or superiority. It's about the hard-earned wisdom of recognizing your intrinsic worth and refusing to compromise it for the sake of appearances, outdated loyalties, or societal pressures. Self-awareness becomes a quiet yet formidable superpower, a lens through which you view the world and make decisions that align with your truth. It empowers you to live unapologetically, to walk away from what no longer serves you, and to embrace a life that feels authentic, purposeful, and deeply fulfilling. 6. Time becomes a precious currency. In the exuberance of youth, time often feels like an endless, sprawling resource, a vast expanse where an hour, a day, or even a year can slip by without much thought or consequence. Moments are spent freely, sometimes squandered, as the future stretches out like an open road with no end in sight. But as you age, a profound and sobering shift occurs. Time transforms into a precious, finite currency, each moment gleaming with the weight of its impermanence. You become acutely aware that your days are numbered, that every hour carries a unique and irreplaceable value. This realization sparks a fierce intentionality, a deep commitment to live with purpose and to allocate your time in ways that honor your values, passions, and sense of self. Every decision, whether it's accepting a coffee date with a friend, engaging in a long phone call with a loved one, attending a social gathering, or carving out a quiet evening for yourself, comes with a cost, not just in hours but in the emotional, mental, and even physical energy it demands. With this heightened awareness, you approach every invitation, obligation, or opportunity with careful discernment, weighing each choice against a simple yet profound question. Will this experience enrich my life, spark joy, or foster meaningful connection? Or will it leave me feeling depleted, disconnected, or trapped in a cycle of obligation? You begin to prioritize moments that resonate with your core values and bring a sense of fulfillment. Perhaps a long, soul-nourishing conversation with a trusted friend who truly understands you, an afternoon lost in the creative flow of painting, writing, or gardening, or a solitary walk through nature where you can reconnect with yourself and the world around you. These choices reflect a deep respect for the fleeting nature of time and a desire to fill your days with experiences that feel authentic and meaningful. Solitude, once perhaps viewed with unease or as a last resort, becomes a deliberate and cherished act of self-care, not a retreat from the world, but a way to recharge, reflect, and curate a life that feels true to who you are. You might spend an evening journaling, exploring new hobbies, or simply sitting in quiet contemplation, savoring the freedom to be fully present with yourself. Others may misinterpret this shift as withdrawal, aloofness, or even selfishness, projecting their discomfort or expectations onto your choices. But this isn't about them. It's about claiming your right to live intentionally, to protect your energy, and to savor each fleeting moment in a way that aligns with your deepest priorities. By treating time as a precious and irreplaceable resource, you craft a life that reflects your values, honors your passions, and celebrates your purpose, ensuring that every moment is spent in service of what truly matters to you. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 3 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. 7. You release the burden of emotional labor. For much of your life, you may have carried the invisible yet immense burden of emotional labor. The unspoken, often thankless work of maintaining relationships and holding your social world together. You were the one who planned birthday celebrations, organized family gatherings, sent thoughtful messages to check in on friends, remembered anniversaries and milestones, and reached out to keep connections alive, even when the effort was rarely reciprocated. You poured your energy into nurturing these relationships, often at the expense of your own mental, emotional, and even physical well-being, because you believed it was your role, your responsibility, or simply the right thing to do. But as you age, a pivotal and liberating question begins to surface. Who's holding me together? Who's investing in me with the same care and effort I've given to others? If the answer is no one, or if the relationships in your life feel consistently one-sided, you begin to step back, not out of resentment, anger, or spite, but out of a profound and necessary commitment to protecting your peace and well-being. This shift can send shockwaves through your social circles, unsettling those who have grown accustomed to your unwavering availability, your willingness to carry the emotional load, or your role as the glue that holds everything together. When you stop initiating contact, planning events, or filling the silence in one-sided relationships, some connections may naturally fade. Friends, family members, or acquaintances might feel slighted, confused, or even offended, misinterpreting your boundaries as rejection or indifference. But this release isn't about punishment or retribution. It's about liberation, about freeing yourself from the exhaustion of carrying relationships that no longer serve you. You're no longer willing to sacrifice your peace of mind for the sake of people-pleasing, maintaining appearances, or clinging to connections that feel unbalanced or inauthentic. In letting go of this emotional labor, you create space for relationships that are reciprocal, authentic, and effortless, connections with people who value you for who you are in this moment, not for the role you once played, the labor you once provided, or the version of you that existed in the past. These are the souls who meet you halfway, who show up without expectation, and who don't demand that you perform, conform, or stretch yourself thin to earn their affection or approval. They celebrate your growth, respect your boundaries, and cherish your presence without requiring you to exhaust yourself to maintain the connection. By releasing the weight of emotional labor, you trade exhaustion for ease, obligation for authenticity, and one-sided effort for mutual care, cultivating a life surrounded by relationships that feel like a gift rather than a chore. This shift is a powerful act of self-love, a reclamation of your energy and peace, and a step toward a life that feels lighter, truer, and more fulfilling. 8. Your evolving identity reshapes your world. Aging brings with it a subtle yet profound evolution of identity, a gradual, often beautiful shedding of the roles, expectations, and personas that once defined you. You may no longer be the young parent juggling school runs, playdates, and endless carpools, the career-driven professional bonding with colleagues over shared deadlines, late-night work sessions, or workplace triumphs, or the friend who said yes to every social invitation, no matter how draining or misaligned with your true desires. Life's natural transitions, whether it's the freedom of retirement, the discovery of new passions and hobbies, a shift to a slower, more reflective pace, or a deepening focus on personal growth and self-discovery, can set you apart from the people who once felt like your closest allies. Conversations that once flowed with ease, filled with shared experiences and common ground, may now feel strained, awkward, or disconnected, not because of conflict, ill will, or betrayal, but because your paths have naturally diverged. Your values, interests, priorities, and even your worldview have evolved, and the connections tied to your former self may no longer resonate with the person you are becoming. Letting go of these relationships can evoke a complex and bittersweet mix of emotions, a wave of nostalgia for the laughter, memories, and bonds you once shared, a pang of grief for the closeness that has faded, or even a flicker of guilt for choosing to move forward. Yet, this release is also profoundly liberating, a necessary and courageous step in honoring your growth and embracing the person you are today. You come to understand that not every relationship is meant to endure forever, and that this is not a failure or a loss, but a natural part of life's unfolding journey. By letting go of connections that no longer align with your current self, you create space for new relationships. People who share your passions, respect your boundaries, and celebrate the person you are in this moment. Alternatively, you may find profound joy in the quiet embrace of solitude, which becomes a sacred canvas for rediscovery, a space to explore your evolving interests, values, and desires without the weight of old roles, expectations, or obligations. Solitude, in this context, is not about isolation or retreat. It's about reclaiming your time and energy to reconnect with yourself, to explore the contours of your evolving identity, and to cultivate a life that feels authentic and fulfilling. You might spend your days diving into new creative pursuits, writing poetry, learning an instrument, or tending to a garden, or simply savoring the quiet moments of reflection that allow you to process your journey and envision your future. This process of letting go and embracing change isn't about loss. It's about growth, about honoring the person you are today and making room for the life you want to live tomorrow. It's about recognizing that your identity is not static, but a dynamic, ever-unfolding story, and that each chapter deserves relationships and experiences that reflect who you are now. In embracing this quiet evolution, you craft a life that feels purposeful, authentic, and deeply aligned with your truth, celebrating the beauty of becoming. The beauty of this quiet revolution. This shift toward a quieter, more selective life isn't about rejecting people. It's about embracing yourself. It's about choosing depth over noise, meaning over obligation. At first, it might feel lonely, especially if you're used to being surrounded by others. But over time, it becomes a revelation. Your own company is enough. You find joy in simple rituals, sipping coffee on your porch, tending to your garden, or reflecting on a life richly lived. Society often paints aging as a slide into isolation, but that's a myth. For many, solitude is a choice, a sanctuary, a gift. It's not about running from the world, it's about running toward yourself. Research backs this up. Reducing stress and prioritizing emotional well-being can extend your life. When you let go of toxic conversations, overwhelming environments, and forced connections, you're not withdrawing, you're healing. You're preserving your energy for what truly matters. The irony is beautiful. When you stop chasing connection, the right people find you. Your circle may shrink, but it grows richer, built on mutual respect, shared values, and a quiet understanding that doesn't need constant explanation. These connections make aging not just bearable, but breathtakingly beautiful. Wow, we've just journeyed through the quiet, powerful shift that comes with aging. Choosing peace, embracing self-awareness, and curating a life that feels true to who you are now. It's a beautiful evolution, one that honors your time, your heart, and your hard-earned wisdom. So, what have you learned from this exploration? Maybe it's the courage to say no without guilt, the freedom to cherish your own company, or the clarity to prioritize what truly matters. Drop a comment below and share one thing you've learned today that you'll bring into your life. Your story might inspire someone else to embrace their journey. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more soul-deep stories and real talk. Here's to living authentically, at every age.